Okay, and now there's another critical thing we can actually piece of information we can get out of these dose response curves. And if you go to the physician's desk reference, you can look for this particular value. It's something called the Therapeutic Index, and basically what it does is it sort of is a comparison of what the therapeutic effect, how much of a dose it takes to get to your half maximal therapeutic effect. Let's say if we're talking about opioids again, like the reduction in pain, you want to reduce your pain. So what's the ED50? What's the dose at which you'll reach that half maximal effect? And then you also want to compare that though to the toxic dose, because opioids, as we know well at this point in this country, after pharmaceutical companies worked hard to basically suppress research and sell as many of these drugs as possible to the U.S. population, resulting in tens of thousands of deaths of Americans. But there are toxic effects of opioids, including the suppression of breathing. So you could, for example, look at this respiratory depression, dose response curve. And thankfully, at least on this graph, it shows you the therapeutic effect, is at a lower dose, right? The drug is more potent for the therapeutic effect of pain reduction, at least in this graph, while the toxic effect, you have to take more of the drug to get to what they call the TD50. That's the half maximal, kind of toxic dose where you can't breathe, basically. And so the therapeutic index is the relationship of the dose, it's the dose, the half maximal dose for toxicity. So what they call the TD50, right? How, halfway to, dose with which 50% of the population is experiencing respiratory depression in our example, right? Over the ED50, the dose for half maximal therapeutic effect, right? So what you really want is the TD50, the half maximal toxic dose to be enormous. You want to have to eat a brick of whatever it is, as opposed to you want much more potency for the therapeutic effect. So you really want the therapeutic index number to be high. Means that it's effective and it's actually safe. So the physician's desk reference will actually have lists of these therapeutic indices for these various drugs. Again, comparing the half maximal toxicity dose, the TD50, over the half maximal ED50, dose for the therapeutic effect that you actually want from